I'm telling you, never play Boros, but do play Lorehold. I'm Warren with Crackerjack Games. If you like cool cards and hot deck decks, be sure to like and subscribe. It never hurts to pop over to crackerjackgames.ca to pick up cards for your new deck. Let's talk about Quintorius, History Chaser. We're doing a deck upgrade. Maybe you picked up the Lorehold precon. It was pre-release weekend after all. So let's spend 25 bucks, move 10 cards out, put 10 cards in, and upgrade this thing so you can really make your opponents feel it. I've never really liked a Boros deck, but when Strixhaven came out 5 years ago and Lorehold was all about putting artifacts in and out of the graveyard, I really got into that. And this deck doubles down on it and makes it even better. And you get to play a Planeswalker in the command zone. So here's the cards we're ripping out of the deck. Kami of Ancient Law. There's more than enough single targeted removal that playing a creature that destroys an enchantment just isn't worth it. We're also pulling out Millikin. We don't need a mana dork in a deck that has tons of catch-up ramp. This deck has all the good white catch-up cards. It even has a Lotus Field in the mana base. I love Atsushi and Ao, especially because you get to go Ao when you cast it. But they have dies triggers, not leave the graveyard triggers. So we can do better. Now, Fateful Tempest has cool art. And I always love a voting mechanic like Council's Dilemma, but because this is damage or card, it's never going to go the way you want it to, because you want cards early and you want damage late, and it's just going to be the opposite of that. Now, regardless of all the cool graveyard stuff we're going to do, this deck is a token deck at the end of the day. We're making tons of 3/2 Spirit, so we don't want board wipes like Tragic Arrogance and Wave of Reckoning. Put them in your blue-white control deck. We're also cutting Perpetual Timepiece and Patchwork Banner. Paying 2 mana to get some extra milling is just not worth it. We have cards that'll do it better. And Patchwork Banner is an anthem for your spirits, I guess, but we can play a way better 3 mana artifact, so we're going to. And finally, we're cutting Primary Research, which is a very cool card. It's 5 mana to return something from your graveyard, and you get a trigger on your end step if something leaves your graveyard. So it's 5 mana, return something, draw a card. But again, I think we can get better. So those are the cards coming out. Now we're only going to spend 25 bucks and we're going to put 10 cards in, and this deck's going to be way better. So here's the list of cards coming in. Some really lean into the play pattern of getting stuff into your graveyard and pulling it out. And there's a couple on here that I just think can go in any red deck for super cheap and give you tons of late game payoff. So we're putting in 3 1-mana artifacts that all help with the game plan. We've got Bag of Holding. Whenever you discard a card, exile that card from your graveyard. So that's going to get you a spirit. It also lets you loot. And we can even sacrifice the Bag of Holding and draw all those cards late game. Next up is Ghost Vacuum. We're playing like 30 creatures in the deck, so we can just take creatures out of our own graveyard and maybe eventually sacrifice this to get them all back as 1/1 spirits. Relic of Progenitus is great. It controls all the graveyard, but you particularly can pull cards out of your graveyard, put them in exile, and get spirits along the way. Next up, we've got 2 talents. Artist Talent and Caretaker's Talent, and both of these are awesome. You've probably even seen them in Standard. Artist Talent has whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may discard a card, and if you do, draw a card. So now all of the 25 or 26 non-creature spells we have turn into fill our graveyard, and later we can upgrade it to make our non-creature spells cost less, and that's never a bad thing. And if you've not played with Caretaker's Talent yet, oh, you are missing out. Make a token, draw a card. That happens on every turn once. So this can be 3 mana, draw 4 cards the first time it hits. And you can even upgrade it for 1 mana and immediately make a token that's a copy of a token and draw a card. And late game for 4 mana, you can anthem all your 3/2 spirits into 5/4 spirits, and that'll probably end the game. I mentioned that we were going to play a better 3 mana rock, and that's Cursed Mirror. You can find this all over the place, but for 3 mana, it enters as a copy of any creature on the battlefield until end of turn, except it has haste. Or you can just play it as a rock, I guess. But that first turn, you're going to get a powerful ETB, the best one on the board. And you're going to smack someone because it has haste. Beauty. Now, you may not want to play a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle card, but too bad. This one's too good for the deck. Leonardo's Technique has Sneak for 2. We're making tons of spirit tokens, so why not pick one up when it doesn't get blocked, pay 2 mana, and return 2 3-drops from your graveyard to the battlefield. And we'll get a nice little token to go with it because something came out of the graveyard. The final 2 cards we're talking about here are Throes of Chaos and Triple Triad. I put Throes of Chaos in almost every red deck I play. It's 4 mana and it has Cascade and Retrace. That's it. We have so many 3-drop and less creatures in the deck that late game when we start flooding out, if we start flooding out, we can start discarding land cards to cast this from our graveyard. This card leaves the graveyard to go onto the stack, so you'll get a spirit, and then we'll get one of our powerful 3 or less drops from the deck. Over and over and over again. Impossible to flood out this way. And you also get to play Triple Triad, which admittedly I haven't played in a deck yet, but as a fan of Final Fantasy VIII from way back in the day, I don't see how this couldn't be great late game. You play it, it does nothing, which is sad. But then on upkeep, you exile a card from everyone's library, and as long as you have the largest mana cost card, you get to cast any and all spells that have less mana cost as well for free. So this is potentially 6 mana draw 4, as long as you can survive a round of the table, and that's just kind of a rate you can't beat. I know it's slow, but it's still better than this primary research in my opinion. Finally, I didn't forget about her, Nahiri the Unforgiving. You can go to creature if you want, or you can discard a card and draw a card, which is always really nice. Fuels the game plan. And its 0 ability makes you a spirit and get something back from your graveyard for a turn. Reuse a powerful ETB. Get a hasty big beater in there. Who cares? She's just really good for the game plan. So Contorius is strong. You're going to end up plussing him over and over and over again. You're going to fill your graveyard. You're going to get card advantage, which is always nice. And maybe even -4 him to win the game. But along the way, you're going to see tons of cards and you're going to have a great time. Hope this helps.